Hey, first off, my condolences to everyone that is in the Aurora, Colorado area. Sincerest apologies for what has happened. I'm sorry humanity is messed up. And that they allow just about anybody to have a gun down in the States. So I'm terribly sorry for everything and everyone that was affected. And if I did pray, I would pray for you. So, I mean, that means a lot coming from me, I guess. So, that's all. If you only came here because of the title, that's probably about all you're interested in hearing if you're not one of my regular viewers. Now on to the crazy stuff. Oh, sorry, I'll try to keep out the swearing as this is a rather sensitive issue at the moment. Last night, a man dressed as the Joker went into a theater, number 9, in full riot gear outfit, tossed a can of tear gas into the crowd, and then opened up with fully automatic, I believe, weapons, killing 12 people and injuring a total of 71, including the dead. Now, being the normal human being I am who believes in the world of duality, everything has two meanings. I see this as one of two things. One, that this was just a crazy man who, while being an extremely intelligent person with a PhD in neuroscience and an honor student, simply had no social life and for whatever godforsaken reason decided he couldn't handle life anymore. Booby-trapped his apartment and decided to take the lives of 12 other people before trying to escape. But this somehow had some deep desire to do with him being the world of chaos as he dressed as a Joker. That's what the Joker is. Joker is pure chaos. He does not pick and choose his targets. He is simply equal and fair to all in his merciless cruelty. Second, I seen this as, well, whether or not it is, but it's going to be used as, a event to take away people's guns. It's going to be one of those, like the Columbine shootings in '99, I think it was, when 12 kids were shot. They're going to fight to get guns removed to people so people don't have guns, gun control. So whether it is or not, see the FBI, they say they're not linked to, this man was not linked to any terrorist groups. The FBI generally have this nice little trait of finding people who seem to be disgruntled and angry humans and usually not that intelligent, and then managing to set them up with explosives and the ability and whatnot and the desire, after coaxing them into it, to basically want to attempt to blow something up. So there's been several cases that I can think of off the top of my head, but I don't know the names of any of them, where the FBI have coaxed in people, and some of them were even mentally handicapped, into becoming domestic terrorists. They gave them false explosives and everything, they set them all up to blow something up, and then just as they were about to go through with the act, even though they couldn't because the explosives were false, they were caught. They caught them. Now they basically bred these domestic terrorists, and so when I heard about this, and then the FBI was somehow involved, because, you know, it's usually what they do, they investigate things like of this severity, I was thinking, well, maybe this is once again another setup. But then seeing that the man had a PhD in neuroscience and was also studying psychiatric disorders, which he may have had, looking at the scenario and the situation which happened, it seems like he might have been too intelligent for the FBI to set him up in this kind of way. What his personal beef is with killing innocent people, I'm not exactly sure. It does seem interesting, though. One of the top things you were not supposed to do if you ever take any psychiatry or anything classes like that to become a psychologist or whatnot, is you never diagnose yourself, because you end up coming up with a bunch of ailments that don't really exist, usually, in yourself, you know? It's one of those, I think I have this, I must have this. That's actually a disorder where you think you're sick all the time and you're not, but you give yourself the symptoms. So maybe this man thought he was going a little bit weird, he was a shy man, and he just decided to look into it, and then he ended up creating, say, these ailments or symptoms for himself, and then maybe he sent himself just into a state of psychosis. But the amount of time that it would have required to get full riot gear and guns and booby-trap his entire apartment, which would require the knowledge, so he'd somehow have to spend time researching it, and the ability, he'd have to go through with it, so that taking the time to set up his whole apartment, but also the time required to get all the supplies to booby-trap his apartment, just seems like this has been in the works for quite a while, which is rather interesting. This is an election year. I expect crazy shit like this to go down quite a bit in an election year. I mean, Obama was down in the polls before, and suddenly he caught Osama bin Laden. Right, because Osama bin Laden's been, you know, hiding in a cave in a third world country from the most military advanced nation for like 10 years. Because that happens, right? I don't know. That seems stupid to me. The men in caves blew up 2 towers in, like, you know, in one of the most military advanced nations of the world. And they knew about it, but they didn't shoot down the jets and the planes and whatnot. It's like, I don't know. A lot of things just don't fly. Firemen hearing explosions going off and all this craziness just doesn't make any sense. So then I see this shooting, and while I am sincerely sorry that it did happen, but I see this as simply another government ploy. It could have just been a crazy person, but it also seems like it might have had a government or another agency that is supposedly run by the government, CIA, FBI, whatever, might have had a hand in this. And now that's just, that's guesswork. There is no proof of that whatsoever, but that's just a theory of mine. It seems like that. But you can most definitely expect that President Obama will or has already made a speech regarding this, and then this event somehow will come up later on in time, closer to the election, in regards to gun control and why you need them. Now, if guns made people safe, and safe society was an armed society, then America would be the safest, nicest place on earth, in which it is quite rather not. So gun control is necessary. But I would also disagree on the same point. I'm on both sides of the fence on this particular situation. One, gun control is necessary so you don't have wackos going and killing 12 people in a movie theater and injuring a whack a load others. But if your own government is trying to control and destroy your brains, your children, and pretty much kill you off one by one and forcing you to buy things you don't need and just pretty much absolutely controlling and enslaving you, then yes, guns are necessary in order to fight. When your government goes against its own laws, then it is time for the people to revolt. It is your duty as a citizen to whatever country you live in. It simply is just one of those laws, whether it be written or unwritten, it just is. You are not supposed to be ruled by slave masters. As a country, you have your freedom. Now, countries like Canada, the States, even Mexico have fought for that freedom of democracy, but we don't really have it now. Every single election, I swear to God, in North America is rigged. The Mexico election, people are saying it was rigged. The one that recently just happened, the Canadian election, Harper should not be Prime Minister because robocalls changed a bunch of the writings. Who knows how much more election fraud went on. Harper shouldn't even be elected. Shouldn't be the Prime Minister. And Obama, I'm pretty sure he was legitimately elected because yes, we can. You play it backwards. It sounds like thank you, Satan. The Obama bots, the people that voted for Obama, are idiots. There's a lot of Americans, 300-something million Americans. I expect there, after years of conditioning, brainwashing, and just loading your guys' arses up with processed foods and stuff, that there's going to be a lot of dumb people in America. Just think of the average person, how dumb they are. And now think half of them are even dumber than that. George Carlin, great guy, he'll be missed. They all voted for Obama, so, idiots voted for Obama. The election was rigged because they didn't teach intelligence and didn't educate people properly, which is part of the government system, so the government failed itself. Besides the point, gun control is going to be a major issue coming up here. If they take away Americans' guns, then they take away their ability to fight back. You take away all of their guns, and now government has no problem. The military is already operating on American soil, so now you take away the militia's guns and everything, and now the military has no problem. That's like them coming to my door and just coming to arrest me. I have nothing to do with it. I can't do anything about it. Like, what? I have a baseball bat. It's like, come at me, man. Oh, yeah, right. You have rifles and pistols and shotguns. You know what? Forget it. Take me in. There's nothing I can do about it. It sucks. Now, if I lived in America, I would probably have assault rifles or high-powered Glocks, anything, and I'd be like, all right, well, you want a firefight? I've got $1,000 worth of ammo sitting here. It's like, I'm good to go. Those are the two differences, and that's what makes American people a deadly adversary for its government. Now, if only people were smart enough to be awake and to be paying attention and to listen, then, they could actually revolt against the government now and form an efficient attack, destroy the government, wipe it out, and put in a whole new political process, if you would even have the whole thing of political parties or anything. The government, as we know it, the political system as we know it, is pretty much shot, corrupt, crap, no good. We need a whole new system. We need whole new reform. You have to burn the old one down before you can build a new one from the ashes. It's just how it goes. Don't know how that's going to happen or when it's going to happen. I imagine something soon in either direction, both burning down the old political system or completely enslaving the masses. We're at that point where one of the two is coming soon, very soon. And it makes me sad that this whole shooting is going to be just used as a political ploy. I mean, politicians, they speak from their ass, really. And if you listen to get the hell out of my chair. If you listen to them, then you're just pretty much eating their crap. If you're paying attention and you're like, wow, Obama, yes, we can. You can change the world. You can make everything better. Petitions to have Guantanamo Bay closed as he's running for president, promises to close it, and then signs the NDA, National Defense Authorization Act, allowing him to indefinitely detain American citizens. And then on top of that, he can also take away your citizenship, even if you're a natural-born American, I believe, for suspected terrorist activities or whatever. That's funny. Suspected. They don't even have to have a full case against you. They can just detain you and whatever if they suspect you of being a terrorist. Pretty soon, they could be looking at, say, people like me. Like, You talk about things the government doesn't like. We suspect you of possibly being a domestic terrorist, or that you could become a domestic terrorist, and then suddenly I'm behind bars for 80 years. Oh, because I spoke my thoughts, and then you guys happen to hear them. Somebody who shouldn't have happened to hear them as well, and now I'm in jail. That shit happens. It happens all the time. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. This is the world that we're living in. Absolutely just nutty. So, while this shooting, absolutely sad. I don't think the guy did it on his own. That's the verdict that I've come to. I don't think this man, however intelligent he may have been, solely based on the fact that he was so intelligent, makes me think that he didn't quite go through with this by himself. That he had a little bit of help. And we'll see as the story develops. But you can most definitely guarantee that this is going to be a huge political thing coming up, especially with the elections. So you can look for it. Just keep your eyes and ears open. And critical thinking, guys. Recently in a paper passed by the Republicans or something, they were trying to ban critical thinking in the States because people will rebel against their parents and authority if they use critical thinking skills. So basically they want you to go, yes, I'll obey. Okay, what do you want me to do? I'll do it. I won't ask any questions. Kind of like the Marines and the Army and the Navy. Sorry, I'm always just taking cheap shots at them. I can't help it. If you guys have seen my whole Marines are controlled or owned by Satan, it's like, yeah, same thing. Alright, but that is all. And again, if you're from Colorado, my sincerest apologies. I'm sorry that this happened. But, welcome to Earth. It's a great little greeting party. Peace.